Great job, Greg. I feel like as an evaluator, my job when I get up here to evaluate a speech is just to give you my take on it, tell you everything I loved about the speech, tell you everything I thought could have been better, and then hopefully there'll just be one thing that you can take away and I'll make it better. Okay. And so hopefully but luckily this is, I think, my 4th or 5th time evaluating you since you've been here, so I'm starting to know you pretty well.
You're carefully refining things.
Yeah. So hopefully there'll be, but the way you set me up for this, I love the intro about Revenge of the Nerds. I was thinking about trying to get Jess to watch Revenge of the Nerds last night, 'cause she's never seen it. So I'd be really ready for this, like watching Rocky before a wrestling match, you know? But I didn't do that. But the setup you had for it, you gave me the objectives of the speech, but then you really wanted me to focus on the storytelling skills for this. You're supposed to have 3 stories, and they're supposed to all have humor throughout the stories, and you wanted to be better prepared. You feel like there's times where you kind of forget things, and I think it's partly because you have so many. You're either really smart or you have word of the day toilet paper at home. Because you have so many huge words. Just the introduction, it seems like we had to read several times before we could get it figured out what it is right. But I think there's one spot in there in the second story where it seemed like you kind of lost your place for a second, but I think you did a good job of just using a pause, and a lot of people probably didn't realize you were lost. Just some of the people that have heard you speak a lot probably did, but I thought you did a really good job of doing that. But other than that one spot, I thought it was really polished, and you gave me a heads up about a couple of vocal variety you're going to have in there where you're going to change your voice, and you thought it was kind of risky. But I thought you did it with confidence. I thought everyone was laughing with you, not at you, and it went along with the story really well. One of the project objectives is that you're supposed to have a self-deprecating joke. And I thought that worked out really well at the beginning. The intro really set it up where you come out here and you're just, wow, that sounded really better in my head. And so it kind of got everyone engaged right away, and it got the story going. I thought the 3 stories were great that you used. The first one with Exchange City, I've never been there before, but hearing that it's like a mock life, and you had a couple good jokes in there, well, who doesn't want to go to that kind of stories? And I thought those were great. And the election, the way you told the stories, they all kind of brought me in. But the first story kind of made me think of Napoleon Dynamite. So you talked about the Vote Greg, I immediately thought of Vote Pedro, and I've had some Napoleon Dynamite pictures in there. And the quote you had, more uncool people than cool people, I thought was really good, and it got a few laughs. The second story is the one that you lost track of a little bit, but I thought it showed a lot of stats, and that was one of the points you were trying to make, is that nerds have facts and stats, and that was a really good story to kind of follow that point. And definitely the last story you had was the best one to finish with, and so about the gaming convention. And this was the one I felt like if there's anything you could have done better, this is how I think you could have done better. Because when you're telling the story, I really started to think of Louis Skolnick in the movie, where he kind of had the epiphany, like, I'm a nerd. I never wanted to believe that, but I'm a nerd. And then he had this huge chant at the end, and it caused everyone to come down the bleachers and chant nerds. And I was ready to start chanting nerds and get the whole crowd started. So I feel like there could have been a little bit more at the end, maybe for that. But other than that, I thought it was great. I was inspired. So if you were inspired, no one's really going to be fine. No one's really going to be free until nerd persecution ends.